What's in your wallet?
I'm so old.
I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5 explosive hot dog carts.
Ritualistic blood magic.
Laser shooting chesty statues.
Don't watch movies unless we tell you to. Welcome. Please join us for an episode of Movies with my best friend Phil. I'm your host, Phil Kessel. We have a very serious episode today discussing the story of a man battling his past, his alcoholism, and Mother Nature herself. We learn about the resilience and adaptability of man, and we see the beauty of modern love against traditional values. Craig Norland, Will Chotis, thank you for being here on this journey with me today. How are you guys doing?
Yes, thank you.
I'm doing well. I recently had a colloidal silver enema for this, so I'm feeling nice and I got a lot of pep in my step.
Yeah, I've heard that's great for your body.
Yeah. It's my whole right side is blue. So.
Oh, wonderful! Half Smurf.
Yeah. This is the most excited I've ever been. I might explode if I even...
Whoa, calm down.
Careful.
Your levels, you're peaking.
Okay, I'm
You're
sorry.
peaking. It's really...
I'm just peaking.
Yeah, you're peaking right in my ears, Craig.
Oops.
Listen, all goofs aside.
Oh,
and scene. Guys.
Guy.
Okay. Here's the deal. I've talked about this before. I have a million...
You went on vacation again.
No. Well, okay, technically I did fly to Michigan.
I was about to say, you sent me a picture of a
Of an airport.
in an airport. So I was like, God damn, Phil.
Yeah, but this was planned a while ago. This was for a birthday party for a friend that is neither of you two.
Okay, so this shouldn't have happened, and it was a
This
mistake,
shouldn't
and
have
you're
happened.
apologizing.
Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah, I'm really, really sorry. No, listen, I've talked about this before. I've talked about this with other people. I have millions, and by millions I mean like 5 like half finished or quarter finished or just barely started stories that I've worked on for like a one shot for a tabletop game. I finally finished one.
Wow.
And we played it this past weekend, and it was really cool. It was the same system that I forced you guys to play, and then we never played again.
Yeah.
Different story, and nothing went as expected, which was as expected. And it was great. There was a betrayal. Everyone ended up dying. And it's great because I've never been at the table when anyone dies. And this was all 4 of them.
Wow.
And one of them killed the other one. It was great. Steve betrayed everyone because partway through, so it's very like Alien-esque. And partway through, Steve texted me and was like, "Hey, can I be like a plant for the company?" And I was like, "Oh, absolutely. That's way better than how this was going to go before." And so,
can I be Ash?
yeah, basically, he's like, "There's always a company, man." And so we got to like the end of the adventure, and he was trying to just abandon them, the rest of them, and leave them stuck in this like space station and get out on his own with like the data. But he rolled really poorly, and the other guy just knifed him, and he died immediately.
Nice.
But it was really cool. I was really happy to have like.
But they all died anyway.
Oh yeah, they all died anyways. But that was, to be honest, I don't think they were ever going to make it out of this. That's sort of the whole point of, well, spoiler alert for whenever I force you guys to finish that other adventure.
Okay.
The game is not everyone's supposed to make it out. Like it's a horror thing. And when's the last horror movie you saw where everyone made it out alive?
That's true. That is true. Never.
But yeah, it was just really fun because we did the thing, and I finally finished one. And now I can never do it again. I can quit the hobby forever.
Yeah, you can finally quit the hobby.
So
wait,
yeah.
was that your recommendation?
No, I was just excited about it.
Okay.
We don't have to start. We don't have to like go. I need a little bit of foreplay before the recommendations, Greg.
It's true.
Ease me into it.
Ease him into it.
Don't just like raw dog me with a recommendation.
Have I expressed my displeasure for the term raw dog on this podcast?
You definitely have.
Yeah, I really hate it more than anything.
Know.
I think it's because I'm a very visual person.
And you think about like
my mind immediately starts
dog.
Imagining those things, and I just don't like it.
It's not great.
I just don't like it.
I try and pepper it in when I can. I have a coworker who also tries to pepper it in when he can.
Speaking of peppering things in, sometimes when I go to restaurants, they give you all those little like packets. You go to a Chinese place and they just like shower you with like it's like soy sauce and then like mustard. And sometimes you get like mustard. I'm like, who's using mustard? Like, who's this for? Anyways,
I like to just put a bunch of mustard in my fried rice.
Yeah,
honestly,
rice.
I would eat that. That sounds fine.
That sounds a bit much to me. Anyways, but sometimes you keep some of those packets, and you're like, I'm going to use this when I later on for my lunch because I'm like somebody who likes to put body temperature warm salt and pepper on my food, but usually you keep it in something like you would keep it in something as like an emergency,
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're thinking of. My wife's purse.
That's right, your wife's purse. That's exactly what I was. That's where I keep all of my salt and pepper packets are in your wife's purse.
Yeah, her purse is honestly overflowing. If you could take some of those back, that would be great.
No, that's where they go.
But I need room for mine.
Right. But
she's my wife. It's my purse.
Yeah, but if they don't stay in there, you'll die.
Oh.
Yeah. That's right. It's time for a segment where we reach deep into our best friend's pants, whip out some recommendations. It's What's in Your Wallet. Did that work for anybody? Anybody have a good time with that one?
I absolutely loved it.
Nope.
From wallets
Craig's
to purses.
nodding enthusiastically and giving me thumbs up. He's having such a good time. All right, Craig, your turn. You're up, bud.
Yeah.
What you got in that wallet?
Okay.
Take out that thick wallet and open up a slice for me.
I talked to Phil about this, but I watched Train to Busan.
Busan. You're on a Korean movie kick, right?
I'm on a Korean movie kick.
Cool.
I have to watch more. But it's basically a zombie movie, mostly taking place on a train. So it's like Snakes on a Train, except not like that at all.
Beautiful.
Snakes on a Plane, sorry. That's the unofficial, like, non-sequel that somebody made. I think it's one of those that you just rent at Redbox when you're confused.
Yeah.
Wonder how that market's doing right now, because my Redbox at my local Kroger has not changed what movies are available in like 4 months.
Yeah, the one at the 7-Eleven I go to sometimes at work has been the same, I think, for almost the entire time I've been here.
Yeah. It's not great. Anyway,
poor Redbox. Oh, those poor rich people.
Poor Redbox. Yeah. I went and saw a movie last night. It's called In a Violent Nature. I don't know if you guys heard about that one.
Sounds familiar.
It's a Shudder film, and it is extremely violent, but it's mostly like there's no music. Really, it's mostly you seeing everything from the perspective of the killer, like behind. It's third person.
Kind of like Black Christmas had a lot of that.
Yes, it's like that. It's kind of slow in parts, but when it actually like something happens, it is the craziest shit you've ever seen in your whole life. So levels of, I think, what people are saying about Terrifier and Terrifier 2, where people are throwing up while they're watching the movie.
Yes.
I don't know if it's not a movie for everyone. It's not rated. They couldn't even get an R rating on it. So
yikes.
But My real recommendation, yuck, 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 I'm sneaking it in, is a.
Will there ever be an episode where your recommendation isn't 3 recommendations?
I do too many things. I'm so
No, it's
sorry.
perfect. You consume more media than I do, so it's just like
Yeah.
I struggle sometimes to find.
Yeah, I am
thing.
a rewatcher and a replayer and a re-listener. So like everything that
Can't.
anyways, I'm always doing the same things I'm always doing.
I played a game called Animal Well.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was published by Big Mode, which is Donkey, video game Donkey. He's a semi-famous YouTuber who's extremely funny. But he started a company to help distribute games, publish them. I don't know what the difference is anymore. I'm an idiot. Anyway,
that
so
tracks.
Yep. It is basically a Metroidvania, but mostly a puzzle game, and it's really hard at certain times. Phil, I feel like you would really love this game.
Ooh.
It just seems like your kind of thing. Like most Metroidvanias, it's not long. Like you could probably beat it in like 5-6 hours.
Ooh, watch me
if you're
start
really
it
going
and
for
then
it.
not play it again for 3 years, and it will technically have taken me 3 years to beat.
Yep.
That's my jam.
But it's a very simple visual, another kind of retro look to it, but you're basically just this little blob who gets tools as you go through to help you get through the well full of animals, apparently, because there's just animals down there. So check it
That's
out.
actually accurate. Have you been down in a well recently?
I did, and then a pig dropped a bucket on my head.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to watch out for those pigs.
Yeah.
You see them in the city sometimes, and you're like, gosh, why don't you just go to a weird apartment?
Yeah, there's a duck there for some reason.
Classic duck.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my stuff.
Will?
Yeah.
Will?
Yeah.
Let's, if you could open your wallet and pull out something fun, that would be really great.
I do have something. I don't know if it's fun. I actually had absolutely nothing and I was like just gonna say pass. But then I remembered
legally you can't.
Then I remembered. I think it was last weekend. Maybe Caitlin and I played a board game for the first time in how old's Jack? 4.5 years.
Damn.
So,
wow.
Yeah. So that might not be true. But we just don't get to it. Like we used to play them all the time. Anywho, so this is actually this game is interesting because it's not actually one game. It's like a bunch of games. It's called Exit.
Oh,
Exit
I've
the
seen
game.
those.
Yeah,
I'm so excited to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so
Was that an egg pun, or did you just say exit?
I
weird?
said exit weird. I think I said exit.
Okay.
Exit.
Exit.
Doesn't matter. So they're like really small games, and they're one shots. So like once you play them, they're done. But they're basically an escape room in a box. So like you open it up and you get like a little pamphlet and like clues and cards and stuff, and you basically try and figure out riddles. And what's fun about it is it really makes you think outside of the box, in so much that like everything is used, even sometimes the box. And you have to, when you think of these, and you like, and it's one shot because you end up destroying parts of it. Like you have to like you'll end up having to cut like the booklet apart, rip cards in half, and like just like think of really crazy and creative ways. And Caitlin and I's biggest problem is the couple that we have are like the easy. And so our biggest problem is we like way overthink things. So we're like going like, it's got to be this like big complicated thing. I'm like, that looks like the number 2 though. Oh, yeah, it's the number 2. Okay, we didn't need to do any of this. It's just, if you just look, it's the number 2. Why did we? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's super fun. The reason why we haven't played them more is because, like, you know, they're one shot. They're not super expensive. They're like $15, I think, or $20, depending on which one you're buying. But they are like, you know, once you're done, you're done. You can't even use the same game again, you know, because you've destroyed it. So it's usually more fun to play with a lot more people. But
It's just, that's a genius business model. It's like, buy this board game, and then you have to cut it up at the end.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, like, you know, well, yeah, no, I think you're right.
Is it something that you're going to replay though?
Yeah, it's something you couldn't replay because you knew all the answers to it and wouldn't be any fun. Yeah,
but well, I guess you could let somebody borrow it, but then if it's destroyed, you can't.
Yeah, you can't let people borrow it. But
cracking down on password sharing.
So apparently, yeah, it's like it's an escape room. I don't know if you guys ever did escape rooms.
No, I really want to, and I feel like I missed the boat because they were like really cool, and then out of nowhere, before I got to go into one, everyone was like, "Oh no, these are actually really lame." I was like, "Oh,
yeah." I never did one. I think I was like,
"Oh my gosh,
what?
We should do one, the 3 of us, and record it."
Oh, cool! More work.
Yeah.
Oh, great! Oh, let's turn something fun into work for Will. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
I think actually there is one in downtown Ypsilanti.
Yeah, there's one off Ellsworth.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, it's like they're super cheap and they're fun. Yeah, we played it, and we made the mistake of drinking while playing it. And about halfway through it, we were like, I'm like, I've read this sentence about 13 times and I don't know what it says. Let's just go to bed. and then we woke up the next morning while the boys were watching cartoons and we beat it. So yeah, it was fun. Very fun.
For some reason, I forgot that you were talking about that game, and I thought you were talking about an escape room where you just fell asleep.
Yeah, I fell asleep at the no,
sir,
sir, you cannot stay here. But I wanna. Phil, what do you have in your wallet?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, mine is also a South Korean movie. Craig and I are one.
Yes. Finally.
I am
the one.
I mean, you guys have been like going towards it for a while, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, we're like a binary star system that has just collapsed, and we're just going into each other.
Mm-hmm.
I won't rephrase. This is a 2021 movie called Space Sweepers. It's cool as shit. I really enjoyed it. It's on Netflix. It is very silly, and it's like arguably a lot of the same sci-fi things that you've seen everywhere else. It's just put together in a really fun way that like is so uncynical in its like kind of near future hypercorporation stuff. It like manages to be hopeful and nice and like kind of wholesome, super wholesome. You're following this crew of like space sweepers, so they're like cleaning up wreckages in space, and they like go sell it, but they're all like poor as hell because of capitalism, and so they're like barely making things work on this ship, and then they and this is all in the trailer.
You're putting yourself to sleep in your own recommendation.
I haven't recovered from this weekend. I'm so tired. I slept on a couch, and I'm just so tired.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know. It must be tough.
So on one of their like recoveries, the ship they find, they open one of the doors, and there's just a young girl in there, like an 8-year-old girl or something like that. And then they think it's the like news starts reporting that there's this missing android that has a bomb, and the picture is this girl. And then there's a whole thing where they have to run away from like a hyper Apple Elon Musk guy, which is great because they don't play him as anything other than a piece of shit, and I like that. They also have so many different like people in the movie speaking different languages, but they all have like a translator on them. But they like there's a French guy, there's like Russians, there's like the multiculturalism is like off the scale. And then two, there's a robot on their squad that is like sort of a metaphor for the difficulty of access of like trans healthcare under capitalism. And I'm just like, that's not what I would have expected from a Netflix movie in like a space thing, but it's like, man, it's really cool. The setting is I just absolutely love. It's like one of my favorite that like not far future, but like kind of mid to near future colonizing the solar system, but we haven't quite gotten everything figured out. Like that timeline is like one of my favorite places for sci-fi stories. And so it's just really good, and I feel like everyone should watch it. And yeah, South Korea's got some good ass movies.
They do.
And shows.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my recommendation. It's great.
We made it 2 seconds into our movie, as Veronica watched it with me, of it being dubbed, and she's like, nope, can't do it. Put it back.
It's
you gotta
interesting.
watch it subbed.
I watched Space Sweepers dubbed, and I didn't really have a problem. I feel like I've been watching a lot of movies dubbed lately, and I feel like I've kind of just gotten past the initial awkwardness of the mouth not matching the what's being said, and then also I have the subtitles on, which doesn't always match the dub.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds
So,
infuriating.
Yeah, it's not that. That's a lot less common than like. I feel like with anime, it's really common.
Yeah.
For if you're watching the dub with subtitles, one of them is like they're not saying the same thing, and it's really infuriating.
I oscillate between whether or not I like dubbed or subbed more. I think for live action, I tend to like subtitles more, but it does also depend on the like the genre, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
But I always find that with animated stuff, I oscillate towards dubbed more because, especially if it's like Miyazaki, where they've like gone and like found really good actors and you know what I mean, and done a really good job of dubbing it. I mean, like Dragon Ball Z is my favorite, like not my favorite, but it was one of my favorite animes as a kid, and I can't imagine watching it without the voices that I know and love, because like the weird thing about Dragon Ball Z in Japan is the woman who did Goku's voice in Dragon Ball, because Goku's a kid in Dragon Ball, does the voice of Goku as an adult. So he's got this like child's voice. He like sounds like a little lady. And, like, it's just the weirdest choice that they kept her on as Goku. I don't.
That is really funny.
It's bizarre. Anywho, so speaking of little ladies, and nope, I'm in trouble with that one. Speaking of talking in movies, we watched a movie that doesn't need subtitles or dubbing because there's like literally no words spoken other than the song that they sing at the very beginning. We watched Hundreds of Beavers, which is a 2022 American slapstick comedy film directed by Mike Cheslick and written by Cheslick and Ryland Brixton Cole Twos. It's starring Ryland Bricks and Coals 2s. Olivia Graves, Wes Tank, Doug Mencheski, and Louis Rico. It's 108 minutes long. It had a budget of $150,000 and it made $400,000. So, considering how small this was, somebody maybe made quite a bit of money on this. I mean, for, a regular person. So the Rotten Tomato log line for this movie is a slapstick epic about a frostbitten battle between Jean Kayak and diabolical beavers, hundreds of them, who stand between him and survival. How do you guys think this movie did on Rotten Tomatoes?
Oh.
Dead
81?
air, love it. What'd you say?
I'm gonna
81?
81?
I'll do 87.
Craig's got it, 96.
Yeah,
It's
I gotta
really
say I
well.
thought 81 was too low.
Wait, what did you say? 87, Craig? So you also won for the audience, because the audience only gave it an 85. Though I was looking through some of the audience scores, and some people gave it 1 star because they were just like, I hate beavers. So obviously there's a bit of a troll situation going on. Craig, you picked this movie. Why?
I did. I had watched this on a whim because I heard good things about it, and I love slapstick movies, and I just wanted to put something a little bit more indie and smaller budget, newer release out there for us to look at.
Yeah.
So how do you want to say how you feel about this movie first, or do you want us to talk about it?
I mean, I can start off. I love this movie so much.
Yeah.
I could watch it basically every day. Just because I was cackling to myself the first time I watched this. I'm sure I sounded like a crazy person. And I usually, if I watch like any comedy by myself, I might just be like, even if it's one I've seen a bunch of times. So this is a rare one where I have a long history with Three Stooges, Buster Keaton, a lot of slapstick, and there's so many influences with this outside of that even. You have a lot of video game influences. We'll get into that later.
Very much.
And just the level of physical comedy and what the main actor went through. He's doing his own stunts. This is filmed actually in like -10-degree weather.
Partially in Michigan.
Yeah, partially in Michigan, mostly in northern Wisconsin. So yeah, he was like half naked for legit -degree weather. So good on this guy. But yeah, I just like a success story. They worked 4 years to get this movie put out, and it finally happened. They took it to all these different festivals, and they finally got a distributor. I watched an interview with him, and he did make it sound like it's going to get a physical release, which is great.
Yeah.
They made a movie. The main actor was the director on that one, but it's called Lake Michigan Monster, and I'd like to watch that. It's supposed to be good too.
Ooh.
So I just want to say, if anyone listening to this hasn't seen this movie, which I'm assuming is probably most people because this is an odd one, turn the podcast off. Turn the podcast off.
Yeah.
Download Hoopla.
Hoopla, yeah.
Well, you can rent it on Amazon too.
Or rent it on Amazon. Watch this movie. This movie. So this is my Everything Everywhere All at Once for 2024. This is the movie that when people are like, "What's a movie I should see?" You're a movie guy. Hundreds of Beavers is going to be the movie that I tell them because this movie is just I loved this movie just simply from the filmmaking standpoint. Like, it is somehow both very impressive and incredibly cheap looking at the same time, but in a good way. It's like a vibe. It
Yeah.
looks to me it like looks like a Flash video or something.
Yeah.
And it very much like Craig, you're talking about like, your influences being like Three Stooges and like Buster Keaton. Well, like my influences were like Looney Tunes, which were influenced by Buster Keaton and all of that. And this is a live action Looney Tunes cartoon.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like it does it better than any other. It is just so much fun to watch. And I found myself like just enjoying his journey. Like, I don't know why. I was like, I think I've said this before, but I do really enjoy, like, when we were talking about Roadhouse, I've said I really enjoy people like being good at their jobs and just like sort of progressing, like when he takes the bar and he like makes it a better bar, and the thing, there's a big section of this movie, which is him trying to become a trapper, like a fur trapper, fur trader or whatever. And just him slowly learning all these like and progressing and getting better and figuring out how to trap more animals using zanier and zanier methods. It's like watching Wile E. Coyote if he was good at being Wile E. Coyote, like, and just like the progression of that was, to me, was like just, oh man. And every time he went by the beaver fortress and it was getting a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
I cannot recommend this movie enough. Phil, how did you feel about this? You did not watch it with it. Oh, you fool.
Hated it so much. No, it's great. This movie's great. It's so silly and but like just so well done.
Yeah.
It earns every bit of silliness, and it doesn't like, I don't feel like there's a gag that is in there too many times or too long. Every gag is like perfectly executed.
Well, I just like, so there's a gag where every time he whistles, this bird comes and starts pecking him.
Yeah.
And like, the rule of threes is that you do it 3 times and then it's not funny anymore. And then like you do it like 5 times, then it's kind of funny. And then like 7 times it's hilarious again. But like, so like around the 3rd time he does it, he realizes how to weaponize it and like use it to his advantage when like setting up traps and stuff. And that to me is like the funniest thing, where he like then is like whistling and this bird comes out of nowhere to peck this fake version of him to like make a catapult go flying, and it's just absolutely insane. Man, yeah.
Oh boy.
Continue, Phil. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say initially. I really liked it. The gags it's the most physical comedy I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And probably the best I've seen in a long time. And everything is just great. Everything is silly.
Yeah. So,
and I loved watching the zany ways that he found to completely erase what the other trapper had given him.
Yeah.
And then redo it himself in the most in the least efficient way possible, but it still worked.
So if anyone listening to this hasn't watched it and is still listening for whatever reason, basically what makes this movie so much fun is that it is set in the real world, right? It's live action, and it's set in the, what is it? Is it Wisconsin that it's set in?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Wisconsin during wintertime. And all of the animals are played by human beings in like basically mascot costumes. So he is chasing like, adult men or maybe women, adult people dressed up as rabbits and beavers and foxes and skunks and stuff. So it is on its face just stupid, but like the thing is it takes that stupid premise and just like kind of keeps going with it, and what it really feels like to me is it feels like an indie video game. Like it really feels like one of those indie video games that has like an incredibly dumb premise, but like and like a strange art style, but like has got like really great gameplay, you know? Like I'm just
Yes.
like thinking of like Cult of the Lamb or something like that, you know, like that's a game that came out recently. And just like it just seems and the thing that's fun about it is the visual effects aren't good, but they are consistent. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
they're all the exact same level of bad, and sort of like and by bad I just mean like it feels not necessarily, I don't want to say cheap, but it does feel sort of like,
It's lo-fi.
yeah, like
I mean,
yeah.
It's supposed to look like a silent movie.
Yeah, and so it looks very silent movie-y, and it's but like you can tell that like there's like I was watching it and I was like, at first I was like, oh, they're doing this cheaply. But then by the time we were like the movie started really going, I was like, God, there were visual effects in every single shot, basically. Like, this isn't cheap necessarily, you know,
Yeah.
considering they had such a small budget and all that. So
Now, the director, I think he's really good at After Effects, and so that's part of the reason they even decided to do it.
right, yeah.
It's just because he knew there was some stuff he could pull off.
Yes.
But like oversaturating the whites, so the snow looks like everything is just washed out.
Yes, it's very
And-
cartoony and stuff. And like even like
Yeah.
they do fun like they do the Batman gag where like they're climbing up a tree. You know, have you ever seen
Yeah.
old Adam West
Mhm.
Batman where they're like climbing up a wall, but it's clearly that the camera is tilted on its side and they're not actually going up the wall. They do that with like climbing up the tree. And it's just funny to me because I was like, wow, that stupid effect is like, it's effective. It like works. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just, God, I loved this movie, man. I don't know.
And going back to the video game aspect of it, like the map that he creates is very much like, yeah, the old Castlevania where you see your little character going from one area to the next.
even
and I
like
mean,
the
a bunch of
Mario
them do that.
Overworld, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mario 3, stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then you have to trade in these things to get the better equipment.
To
And
upgrade your
how are you
gear.
going to make this work? Yeah. So listening to the director, he's like, oh, because somebody asked him, oh, was this all intentional, or is this just kind of your language? Video games are that much a part of your language? Like, that's basically it. If your life is oversaturated with video games like me, this just sort of happens. But
Yeah. I mean, that makes
yeah.
sense because like, and it was immediately, I was like, yeah, he goes to like a trader, a merchant, and he like goes to the menu and it's like, oh, for a knife, you need 1 beaver pelt or whatever. And then like for a hammer, you need 6 beaver pelts. And for, a gun, you need 3 wolf pelts, a beaver pelt, and a skunk pelt or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could like watch this movie in any language and it would make complete and total sense.
Yeah, because
There are a few
like no
written things
words.
here and there, and there's a song at the very beginning which I didn't understand a word of anyways, and
Yep.
it didn't matter. Yeah, I was like trying to like understand what they were saying, and I was like, I can't really hear them, and I kind of like looked at Craig, and you're just like, I'm not turning the subtitles on. This is the only time they talk. Just get through it. And I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah, and it's a good thing you guys didn't watch it with the subtitles on because it does ruin some of the gags.
Yeah, I bet you it would. Yeah.
because they'll show up like a half second or a second before.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was watching it with subtitles and I was like, man.
Yeah. But yeah, like some of my favorite, I don't know. Do we want to go through the plot? I mean, or do we want to just?
the plot is really, he is selling Applejack, and then the beavers ruin his Applejack business, and he has to become a fur trader.
Yeah.
And
Well, the fun part about that is like he is in the wilderness. He slowly becomes more and more naked as he goes on, and
Yeah.
he's just trying to get food. And it's like 30 minutes into the film when he finally gets his raccoon outfit, and then the opening credits start. And it's like,
and then you don't even get the title of the
Yeah.
film until Another half an hour later.
Yeah, like a half hour later after that, it's like hundreds of beavers, and you're just like, oh, I didn't realize we didn't do this already. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's got the trapper, like the merchant, his daughter. The main guy is in love with her, and so he is not impressed by him. So he says you have to catch hundreds of beavers in
Yes.
order to marry her.
Well,
So that just becomes the goal.
yeah, and even before that, he like breaks his leg like immediately, and it is taken in by an experienced trapper, and kind of like follows him around for a little bit.
Well, he loses all of his dogs.
Yeah, well, like,
and the merchant is in love with him.
Yes, and then the merchant died. Yeah,
yeah, the merchant doesn't get to be with his love.
Yeah, all the while in the background, the beavers are slowly but surely creating a giant fortress, which is, I like it's so funny because every time they walk by it, it's like playing ominous music, and it's so clear that like something is going to happen with this, but nobody else seems to be bothered by it. And
that was another thing the director brought up, is that he loves movies where there's like a siege of a building or like a castle in the third act, and so he's like, we're just gonna do that, we're gonna add it to my film.
Yes, and I have to say, once the siege part was, I think the third act is when I had a few moments of, I think this movie is overstaying its welcome just a tad, because it was just like it started, the zaniness was getting into complete and total overload, and I kind of felt like we had lost the original sort of fun quaintness of like him in the wilderness, because we had, the setting changed from like the Wisconsin wilderness and like animals in the forest to like basically him being in the final level of a video game, like trying to like break into the final fortress and like fighting hordes and hordes of not monsters, beavers in this case. And also like there was also just like the beavers were like launching a rocket into outer space, and then of course there's a giant beaver kaiju at one point, and I was just sort of like, I think we're getting a little far away from it, guys. Yeah, I did like the two things I did really love about that part was, one, his beaver pelt costume, like when he like skinned a bunch of beavers and then like wore it, and it was just this like horrible looking like suit of like beaver skin, and like all the beavers are just like kind of looking at him like, what's up with this guy? And then I did like the trial scene, where he had that like really incompetent beaver lawyer.
What did I saw that and I was like, well, I'm just a simple country beaver lawyer.
Yeah. Was there a favorite gag that you guys had?
I think mine was he's doing the fishing, and the rod falls out of the snowman's hand. He has a snowman holding the rod so he can leave. And the rod falls out of the snowman's hands, so he builds a muscly snowman to hold it. It's just so dumb.
Yeah, I don't favorite gag. I did really enjoy.
Oh, that was not my favorite. Continue. I'll tell you my
No, you do yours, because I'm not sure I have one.
Okay, so the beavers at one point trick him into going back to bringing the bag of beaver skins that has hundreds of beaver skins to the merchant and his daughter, but it is it is a like cardboard cutout billboard of the house.
Yeah.
And then it falls on him. And he starts to get up, and then another one falls on him that is
impossible.
Impossible, but it's instead of the, like, it is a picture of the fallen cottage and him, and it like, I fucking lost it at that part.
I mean, I do love that So while he's like catching all of these beavers and basically killing them, he's killing these beavers, and some of them are dying horribly. There is a Sherlock Holmes and Watson beaver that is like following him, and that's like the funniest thing ever.
When they're at the trial and they're recounting what he did to all the beavers because they can't figure out why they look the way they do.
It's just such a stupid thing to have happen. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I really like that. I also really liked the whole like this to me was just such a Looney Tunesy gag. Was the merchant, every time he had his stupid spittoon that he would like spit into and it would miss, or it would like ricochet off something and then miss again, was like just like, and then of course it was the last gag of the movie. Yeah. I don't know, Craig, did you have a good gag that you liked?
Oh, I mean, there's a million of them. When she's skinning the raccoon, there's a human skeleton inside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the like felt intestines and stuff.
Yeah. The native guy would show up every once in a while, and then near the end he hops on a horse who is not a horse.
Two people in a costume.
Oh yeah, the horse is like two guys in a costume. It's like clearly not even close to a horse, and
not
then
a
grown man.
And it's like not even executed well. Like it's so perfect.
And then he jumps on it, and it like, of course, doesn't go anywhere.
Just collapses. I mean, honestly, the whistling with the woodpecker was just grade A. I loved it every single time. Whew. Anyway, sorry, we're just recounting funny moments from this movie now.
See,
I mean,
but
that's
it's
really all the
because...
movie is, though. Like, there's like nothing else to talk about other than the funny bits, because that's what it is, you know.
It was my nickname in high school.
The funny bits.
Oh, that's not a good one, is it?
Well, it's also not true.
I'm really glad that he fell in love and that they got to be together. I would have been really sad.
Yeah, I did think it was like really funny where she just like suddenly brings up a stripper pole and does like a like whole striptease in front of him. Not quite a striptease. I don't know what.
Like a pole dance.
A pole
routine.
dance. That's the word. I couldn't find it. And that to me felt very like, I was like, this feels very Looney Tunes to me. And then I like stopped. I'm like, I really shouldn't have been watching Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Those were not meant for children. Yeah, I mean, I even wrote down, like, even him, like, there were so many just, like, simple, dumb gags, like, when he put the coin down on the table, and he goes to, like, the merchant puts the coin down on the table, and he goes to, like, pick it up, and he just, like, can't. For, like, 5 whole minutes, we're just watching a man unable to pick up a coin on the table.
Yeah.
And the guy just, like, picks it up and hands it to him.
He gives it right back to him.
It's just one that I feel like people should watch. I feel like anyone...
I do.
Like, you don't have to be a movie person to enjoy this.
I also
it's not like...
I also really enjoy the poster. I don't know if you guys have seen it. The poster.
Great poster art.
It looks very much like oh man, who did all those? It's like looks like a National Lampoon, like Animal House. It reminds me of like Mad TV kind of. Not Mad TV, Mad Magazine, you know, National Lampoon art. It's just, yeah, it's very much they. This is one of those few examples of like a movie where it's like they were trying to go for something and they nailed it. You know, it's like it's one of those movies where like the vibe of it is exactly correct at all points. You know, it is, and the thing that's the most fun about it is it is just bit after bit after bit, and it commits to each one, and it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. This is a fantastic little weird movie that everyone should go and watch. And if you've gotten to this point, we've ruined the whole thing. So you
I
should
still
really go
think it
see
would
it.
be worth watching.
Yeah, it still
Oh,
would be
there's
very
so
fun.
many-
It's
so
just
many
all
more
visual gags
Yeah.
that like you can't explain, and knowing the story does not change a damn
Yeah, it
thing
does.
about
Well,
the movie.
it also was one of those movies where you know the story. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it is not a novel idea. It's
Yeah.
actually one of those movies. It's sort of like how Star Wars was sort of like one of those movies that just sort of like picked up like the reason why Star Wars works so well is because like it basically just like took everything from everything else, you know? It's like all of this was already here and I just pushed it together and made it into my own movie. And this feels a little bit like that where it's just like, oh, I've seen this before, but I've never seen this before. You know, because it feels like 1,000 things that you've already seen, yet you've never seen this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, point being, Hundreds of Beavers is on par with the first Star Wars movie.
Oh yeah.
All right, Phil, I don't feel like you get to do the rating first very often, so I'm going to ask you first.
You know what? I appreciate that, Craig. I feel like you value me.
I do.
Thank you. I have two, but I'm gonna pick one. I'm gonna give this 5 out of 5 dogs playing poker, which works on multiple levels because I think there's 5 dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And the dogs playing poker bit was really fun.
Until
And then
they start playing.
Yeah, they'd get taken by wolves, and then the last dog is on its own playing solitaire.
Solitaire.
It's really sad, but it still works really well.
All right, Will.
Yeah, Will.
I'm going to give this movie 5 repeatedly getting your ass kicked by a handful of beavers out of 5. Because I just loved in the very beginning of this movie, every time he tried to kill a beaver, they would just like
They
all
would just
gang
beat
up
the shit out of it.
and beat the shit out of him. Because, and what's funny about that is because like beavers wouldn't and couldn't do that, you know? It's because it's dudes in costumes. I don't know. Anyways, Craig.
5 out of 5. Guys in mascot costumes falling down, and you can't tell if it was on purpose or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fall
Those
over.
can't be like easy to be in the snow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The other one I was going to throw out, did you guys see at the end when he's on the sled and they're racing through the forest? There's a for sale sign. Just a modern for sale sign that they pass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's f***ing awesome. And it's like I guarantee they saw it and were like, "No, I'm okay with this being in here."
That part was so weird because we had been in like fantasy crazy land inside the fortress, like green screen hell for like so long that like when we went back to like very clearly actual reality, I was sort of like, are we watching it? Like it just felt suddenly like a student film out of nowhere. It was just weird. That's what, yeah. But I did really like the whole like them on the like basically speeders doing the Return of the Jedi scene from Endor.
From Star Wars.
What's not Endor? It's the moon of Endor. Everyone makes that mistake.
God,
But
damn
it's from Star Wars, so that's the second Star Wars reference.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Wow. So that was that. We have some extra time. Do we want to play a game of Rotten from my head to my toes?
Sure. Let me grab it.
Oh my god. It's been a while.
I know, it has been a while. All right, so we're gonna play a game of Rotten from my head to my toes, which is where we guess the Rotten Tomatoes scores, and whoever is closest wins the prize of admiration. Right?
It's all I've ever wanted.
Yeah,
someday I'll get it.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what I got here. All right. Our first movie came out in 2010. It is starring Michael Cera and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. This is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
So.
Oh.
Okay, what do you think for critic score?
87.
Oh no. Do we do prices right? No, we're just whoever's closest, right?
Whoever's closest, yeah.
You said 87?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a good old 75.
Phil gets it 82%.
Darn it.
Yes.
Oh,
I'll win this
man.
time.
Okay. Okay, 2019, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Robert De Niro. It is Joker.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
I'm going to go with a 78.
I'm going to go 82.
Will gets it 68%.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
With an 88% with audience score.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. A lot of problematic dudes like that movie.
I was just going to say. They need an audience score and an incel score.
Have you ever, like, every once in a while, I'll be like, I'll see something on, like, Instagram, like a reel, and it's like, something happens, and it's irrelevant what happens, but then, like, it's like like a guy accomplishing something, and then the next shot is, like, a bunch of dudes from a bunch of movies, but it's, like, the Joker, Tyler Durden, like, oh, man, who else is, like, a problematic dude? Like, what's American Psycho? Like, it's all these like Raging Bull, like, you know, it's all these like wait, why are we picking these men? Like, what account is this? What did I stumble upon?
Yeah, I think we watched the same thing, and I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah, that's the problem with being a man of any age.
Yep.
On a social media algorithm.
Oh yeah,
because they just keep trying to throw it in just in case you've
Yeah.
changed your mind.
I'll be like, oh yeah, this is a post about how dads are underappreciated, and they're like, oh, so you think some dads are underappreciated? You must hate women. No, that's
Shit. That's not what I
That's
meant.
not what I said. I don't think that's what I said.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a 2006 film starring Jack Black. It is Nacho Libre.
Oh God,
Libre.
Oh,
Ooh,
45.
59.
Will gets it 40%.
yes.
Okay. I've never seen that.
It's very funny.
I have
it's
heard
one of
that
those
it is
movies.
like beloved but not good.
Yeah.
Okay. 1998,
Oh boy.
starring Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker.
Oh boy.
Rush Hour?
Rush Hour.
Ooh, man. 73.
I'm gonna go with 80.
Phil gets it
Yeah, I knew it.
61%.
Yeah, that makes sense. They don't like comedies. Critics like it's really rare to see a highly rated comedy.
Yeah. I think we're 2-2 right now.
We are 2-2.
Okay, 2001, starring
Space Odyssey.
Mike
Got it.
Myers and Eddie Murphy.
Were you guessing what the movie is?
I
'Cause that
guess
would
you
be
can now.
Shrek. It's Shrek, right?
Yeah, it's Shrek.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking live action. I was like, what movie are they in?
I'm gonna go 90. I'm swinging.
94. Shrek rules.
Will gets it 88%.
What's the audience score on that bad boy?
90.
100.
Yeah, okay.
The movie's great.
I haven't seen it in so long.
Lord,
Jack will not
just-
watch it with me.
When I realized Lord Farquaad was the name of the
Yeah.
character, I was like, okay, you guys, you got me. Anyways,
Okay, 1994, Tom Hanks and Robin Wright.
Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. That would
I
be
have no
Splash, right? No, Tom Hanks and Robin Wright.
What'd you say, Phil?
Oh, I have no idea.
One Best
No,
Picture.
Who's in Splash now?
I think it's the
Um,
same people who
Daryl
are in
Hannah.
Splash.
Daryl Hannah, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, no, I don't know. Oh no, is that Big?
Forrest Gump.
Oh,
Forrest
of
Gump.
course.
I thought that was a little too easy. I guess I was wrong.
Oh man, I don't think I ever put it together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 90.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 92.
Will gets it, but God, you guys are way off.
Way off?
71%.
I thought that movie was that's this. So
It was
the
not
90s,
a well-liked movie.
See, that's the thing. The 90s is always going to be our weak spot because I have nostalgia glasses plus the benefit of time. So it's like when I think of it, I remember really liking it. And when it was reevaluated, other people really liked it. But at the time, it was probably not, valued the same way. Anyways.
Let's see. All right. From 2004, starring John Heder.
Okay, Napoleon Dynamite.
Yep.
Oh, what do I think that movie did? I'm going to go 70.
76 trombones.
72%. Will gets it.
I win. I got
Will
5.
Wins. Damn.
Right.
Will gets the admiration.
Yeah, I know.
It's a good job, buddy.
I'm the winner.
I'm proud of you.
Man, I wonder what John Heder's up to these days.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I actually don't care.
Let's get him on the line.
When Napoleon Dynamite came out, I kind of want to rewatch that movie because I hated it when it came out.
I loved it.
We thought it was the funniest thing ever.
I know. Well, the reason why is because I was incredibly late to the game. Yeah. Everybody saw it but me, and they were quoting it constantly to me. And so when I finally saw it, I was like, "Oh, these are all the jokes I've heard for weeks." And now they're very much not funny, Yeah,
but that is fair.
I was also like very edgelordy as a kid, so I was like, "Oh, everyone likes this. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. It must not be cool."
There.
So like one of my least favorite. I don't want to say personality traits, but it's sort of like personality fixations that like young kids get into and some people get into, where it's like if something is popular, that equals bad. And it's like, well, no, it doesn't equal bad. Sometimes popular things are bad, or bad things are popular. Yeah, but sometimes
popular things are popular because they're good.
Yeah, exactly. It's like people who are like, oh, the Beatles are, I was like, where it's like, oh, everyone talks about how great the Beatles are. And I was like, I don't really get it. And then I got Sgt. Pepper's, the album. And I was like, well, I was wrong.
Yeah. That's like that one specifically is always so funny to me.
Yeah.
When people are like, oh, yeah, I don't really like the Beatles. I'm always like, have you
listened to the Beatles?
Have you listened?
Because
you have ears and a heart.
Yeah.
Like,
you should really listen.
They're just good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That might be one of my least favorite personality traits of past Phil.
Yes,
because I feel like I sometimes am still trying to dig myself out of it. Because it was just so ingrained in being a young person.
Yeah, it's like you've missed the point of counterculture. You're just doing the counter part,
Yeah.
Where it's like you're not doing things because it's what you like and it goes against what everyone else likes. You're doing things to counter what everyone else likes, which isn't like, it's just an angry philosophy to live by.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, Phil, you are next up.
Yes. I have a dilemma here.
Okay. We can help.
Yeah, I was hoping. So, I kind of want to keep on this Korean movie kick that Craig is on, and I'm also kind of on. And Craig, I know you've seen The Host.
Oh, I want to watch this.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll just pick that one.
It's been forever, so.
The other one was Psychokinesis, which is a superhero film. It's from the guy who did Train to Busan, which also seems good. So I'm torn between like a dope monster movie that I have seen and I did love.
I haven't seen it. It was always the movie I wanted to watch, but I for whatever reason was never in the mood for a monster movie.
It's on Hulu. We should just watch that one.
Okay.
No, you know what? I'm picking it. We're doing it. We're going to continue this South Korean movie trend that Craig and I are on.
Cool.
and we're gonna watch The Host. Which every time I've brought it up to anyone, they go, "You mean the Stephanie Meyer one?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, not that one."
Have you guys watched?
I'm cool. I like Korean movies.
Did you guys ever check out Squid Game?
I just finished it.
Oh man,
I did.
I loved that
I
show.
couldn't get into it
Oh, that's too bad.
because it was too like, I don't know. It felt like I couldn't vibe with. It was so very anti-capitalism, and you guys know I love capitalism.
Yeah, that's
That
right.
it was really tough to. No, I think it was just like I could not be watching it when it came out because it was like that came out during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I was just like right now I need a positive content and
Oh.
I cannot watch this, and
See,
then I just didn't go back to it.
I'm the exact opposite. When I'm in a bad mood, I need to watch something that's incredibly cynical and angry because it sort of like pushes me out on the other side. And I'm like, oh, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to rage for a little while. And then,
That's fair.
and that's like, I think what was the movie? Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
Was the same. You and I had the same, like, differing opinions on it, which I really liked. It felt very cathartic to me to watch a movie where it was like clearly everyone's going like, ah, you know what I mean? Like, and you were like, this feels like it's almost pandering in a way or something like that. You just didn't, you're like, we get it. Rich people are awful. Like, you're hitting me over the head with this point. Whereas
it felt like somebody was telling me an opinion I agree with and then not listening to me agreeing with it.
Yeah, and they just kept
and then fighting me for some reason.
See, to me, I was like, yeah, let's go. And I was like going with them, But yeah, no, The Host, that sounds great. Looking forward to that.
Thank you for liking and subscribing to the podcast. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube.
This episode was brought to you by Caitlin Chodas. That's my wife. I know her. She lives in my house.
That's my favorite adult in your house.
Hurtful, but true. If you are interested in hearing your name shouted outed and want to help support us, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/mumbleandshrug.
If you like what you heard, consider leaving a review. Well, oh, wait, no. I got to do this differently.
Okay.
Thank you all for listening. If you like what you heard, consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It really, really helps with those metrics. If you leave a comment, subscribe. That's all for this episode. I'm Phil Kessel.
I'm Will Chodas.
And I'm Craig Norland.
Please go watch this movie. It was quite tremendous.
Yeah, figure out how to make these people make a lot of money off of this, because I want them to be able to make more money to make the next movie for whatever it is. Yeah,
give them your money. Will's holding a gun at you saying, give them your money.
I am.
He's robbing you for them.
Actually, it's up against my own head.
Give them your money.
Brought to you by Mumble and Shrug Productions.